What's up, Oshean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Milotics, bringing you our Week 4 battle for the BBL. Today we're facing off against SPLURGE and his Bracknell Beedrills, if I remember correctly, that's the team name. And he's got a really cool team. It's built around Solgaleo and Giratina, which is awesome. And the rest of his team is Landorus, which is super scary. He's got Sylveon, Mega Gyarados, which is a huge threat to pretty much every team I always end up drafting for some reason. He's got Solgaleo, which is nice, Alolan Golem with Z-moves, a Selgor, and Landorus with Z-moves, as well as Cryogonal, and the aforementioned Solgaleo and Giratina. Now, the team that we have is Dialga, Protein Greninja with Z-moves, Mew, Infernape, Tangrowth, Slurpuff, Quagsire with Z-moves, Rotom Spook with Z-moves, Volbeat, Dusclops, Glalie with Z-moves, and Mega Aerodactyl. Now, before I do get started, I want to say a huge thank you to Sohan, the OP Jellicent, for coming in and guest commentating my PCL game from last week, and for Austin, aka Garchomp the God, for helping out with our BBL game from last week as well. Huge thank you guys. I really appreciate the help when I just was, well, way too busy to be able to get it up myself. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Also, speaking of a bit more house cleaning things, I guess, what was it? No, not last, but this past Saturday there was no PCL upload. That's because we actually got a forfeit win in that game. So we advanced to 5-3 on the season with a +9 differential. It really sucks. Brendan just said he couldn't end up playing, and well, yeah, at this point I think we just need one more win and we clinch playoffs there. So if we can win our week, I think it's our week 9 game or our week 8 game. I think it's our week 9 game. If we win that game against Goldoa, then we actually end up clinching playoffs, and yeah, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So my opponent, there's a few things I was afraid of. I was afraid of the Landorus, the Solgaleo, the Giratina, Sylveon expected to come. A Selgor was a huge threat to me, so yeah. But I decided to come up with this team here, and a huge thank you to my front office again for all the help. And we started off with Dialga here, and we'll start off with Dialga. That was the second one I built, but whatever. So Dialga here is a calm nature. We have Flash Cannon, Earth Power, Dragon Pulse, and Substitute. And yeah, so our sub isn't broken by a no special attack Giratina's stab, so any like Hex, Shadow Ball, Dragon Pulse, whatever it be, except for Draco Meteor or a Timid Cryogonal's Freeze Dry. And our speed is for no speed Solgaleo, which is, I think, pretty important just in case he decides to be a very slow one. I just want to have that benchmark just in case. It didn't require too much. I think I only have 60 speed EVs, so yeah. We then have our Greninja here, which is Hasty Nature this week. We have Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, Surf, and U-Turn. We are Expert Belt, and this set is pretty good this week. We have speed for, I think, Solgaleo. I think that's the next fastest mon, and the rest is in our special attack, and we have a bit in attack and special defense and HP just from whatever was left over. But this set hits everything pretty hard. Expert Belt with these coverage moves, it's pretty good. Next up, though, we have our Rocky Helmet Tangrowth here, which is just max defense, max HP. We have Giga Drain Knockoff, Hidden Power Ice for the Landorus, and Leech Seed. We are Rocky Helmet to chip down Mega Gyarados. This is my Mega Gyarados switch-in. I want to be able to switch on that thing effectively. And yeah, we then have our Mega Aerodactyl, which is Earthquake, Ice Fang, Wing Attack, and Roost. Wish I had Earthquake last week, but oh well. And I think our speed is for Modest the Selgor and Timid Scarf Sylveon, and also Adamant +1 Gyarados. That just works out. And yeah, I want to take off Roost for Stealth Rocks or something, but I felt like I needed Roost, the longevity, just in case of the this was a pretty decent offensive check to the Landorus, so I want to make sure I had that. We then have our Mew here, which I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's an offensive Mew, because I want to bring it again another time, but who knows. And then we have our Calgary, our Infernape, which is Focus Sash, and we have Nasty Plot, Vacuum Wave, Hidden Power Ice, and Flamethrower. Basically, it's meant to be our lead here, and trying to beat down the Selgor quickly if he wants to be the lead, or just break something like the Giratina or the Solgaleo. So that's that. Anyways, that's the team. Let's go ahead and get into the battle. So, looking at what he brought, I felt like Infernape was my best lead, and it still is. It's sashed. It can make sure that I can get a Nasty Plot up on most things. I can almost stop hazards from going up. If he's a Selgor, he's obviously going to get a Spike or a T-Spike, but he ends up leading off with Videotape, which is his Mega Gyarados. And that kind of caught me off guard, and I'm not carrying the Close Combat or the Focus Blast this week. I'm holding I have Vacuum Wave, which is not going to do as much damage, so I'm just going to switch out here, preserve my Sash. He's probably going to end up going for the Dragon Dance, and I go into M&M my Tangrowth. Tangrowth here is really good because the best thing you can do to touch me is Crunch, and he'll take Rocky Helmet damage, and even then, I'm not taking very much from it. I think I'm taking like less than 25%, if I'm not mistaken, from a Crunch from a Mega Gyarados, which is crazy. But you're going to see here he breaks the mold and he can now go for the substitute. And that was really confusing. So it basically means he's either missing out on Dragon Dance or Earthquake or Waterfall or Crunch. And he's not missing out on Crunch, so he just used it there. But I can go for the Giga Drain here. I made sure of it, but my Tangrowth can always break a Mega Gyarados' sub with Giga Drain 100%, which is excellent. And we're going to gain back some HP here with the Giga Drain, which is awesome, and break the sub at the same time. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, he doesn't want to stay and take another Giga Drain. He can't really do anything. He's probably going to go with Selgor because that thing hard walls my Tangrowth, which is kind of funny. And he can go for a U-turn or Bug Buzz. So I'm going to switch out hard into my Infernape. And kind of predicting that. And thankfully, I do end up getting it right. So, I mean, I was kind of floored when it happened. I was with Julia and I was like, yes, oh, thank God. So I made the play right, which is awesome. And thankfully, it ends up coming in clutch because I can just go for a Flamethrower here as he goes to the Toxic Spikes, which, if he gets multiple layers, can be pretty scary. But I do have the Flamethrower and the Vacuum Wave if he's sashed. But you're going to see here, he's just going to drop. And I think Splurge actually told me after the battle he was Specs. And losing a Specs to Selgor, it's big for him. Like, the fact that he didn't have that later on in the game, could come back and bite him. But it's okay, he sends in his Giratina here. And this thing, I can't really touch. I'm just going to go for a Hidden Power Ice, see what he does. And, we should do, 30% of this thing, I'm thinking. But we do nothing. Like, that's super effective. We're max special attack. That's insane. He goes for the Dragon Pulse here. I don't know how much special attack he has. He could be max special attack. He could be no special attack, just depending on the roll that he got there. So, who knows? But he does reveal the leftovers, which is important. And I can now shit this thing down even more. So I'm just going to do that. Go for Hidden Power again. And ideally, we get this thing down to around 60% because Dragon Pulse will kill it then. But we do manage to get a crit there, and that is around 55, 60%. So I don't think we would have gone there without the crit, which kind of sucks, but it's fine. Calgary goes down, but what it did was needed. It got rid of the Selgor and it chipped down the Giratina, which is important. So now I can go into my Dialga, and thankfully he set up a Toxic Spike and not a regular Spike, because losing HP on my Dialga is not what I want since I'm a subset. So I'm going to click Substitute here as our pressure is activated, and I don't know what he's going to go for, but I'm thinking he's going to switch out because, well, I mean, it's a Giratina. It's going to drop to a Draco Meteor or a Dragon Pulse if I have a lot of special attack. But he goes for the Protect. I'm like, this could not be a more perfect turn. He reveals a move that he already has. He reveals a move that he had, and at the same time, I gain back HP, and I get a free sub. So it's a win-win all around. Anyways, Giratina gains back a bit of HP here. I can now go for a free Dragon Pulse here. If you switch out to Sylveon, that's fine by me. I don't take too much from Hyper Voice, especially even if he specs, and I can fire off a Flash Cannon and do tons of damage to him. So he does go Sylveon here, which does suck. Our Dragon Pulse doesn't affect him, and we can now go for the Flash Cannon, which should do 70%, and we don't have very much special attack investments either. So hopefully this does enough to 2 a KO. I don't know if he's specially defensive or not. I think if he is specially defensive, we still barely 2 a KO, but Flash Cannon comes out, and we're gonna do a clean chunk of damage to him, and I'm happy with that damage. It's not bad at all. He goes for the Wish here. You know, it's fine. He has to have Protect to make sure that he lives this next hit anyways, unless he's gonna switch out into his Giratina to gain back some HP. But I'm gonna go for a Flash Cannon here once again, and I should be able to do a decent chunk of damage to him. As he's going to switch out, and I'm thinking, okay, he's probably going to go into his Giratina, that's fine by me. But no, he goes into No Surprises, which is his Solgaleo, which is interesting play. But, I mean, it works out. I think Solgaleo is a pretty decent answer to Dialga right now, especially if he's really bulky, and you see that does absolutely nothing to him. And, yeah, I mean, I got to go for Flash Cannon here. And the good thing about being behind the sub is, since Solgaleo is pretty fast and outsped me in my mocks, I can just go for an Earth Power behind the sub and do 70% of this thing. So I'm going to go for an Earth Power here, as he's going to switch out again. And he's just switching around letting me wear down his team. He goes into Videotape, which is his Mega Gyarados. I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this. I KO with Dragon Pulse next turn, so why would you do that? But then I realized, wait, he needs to break my sub, and I guess he thought I was gonna KO him with the Earth Power. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's a minus Spit F nature with no bulk. Who knows? But it's okay. I can go for the Dragon Pulse now. KO what's in front of me. Just that's all I've been doing. Just attacking what's in front of me, especially because I'm behind a sub. There's no reason for me to predict and try and get it wrong. So I just go for the Dragon Pulse here, and we're going to be able to actually hit this thing really hard as he's able to break our sub with the Mega Gyarados. So at this point here, his Selgor is gone, and now after this hit, his Mega Gyarados is going to be gone. So we're up 5-4 right now, and we're looking pretty good. We have everything that we want intact. I would like to have had Rocks up, but I mean, I didn't bring Rocks, so that's on me. But he goes into Bloom here, and this was very unexpected because I thought he was going to go Solgaleo, but I take the hit from this thing. So I'm going to go for the Dragon Pulse here. If he's max attack, max speed, then he 2 KOs with Superpower because of the contrary boost. But you're going to see here, he goes for Superpower, and this is going to do a clean chunk of damage. This is over half, and I'm like, that is too much damage. That's way too much. And then I realize, wait, no, let's take a look. He's Life Orb, and that's perfect because he's in range now with my Dragon Pulse. So I would have had to go into my Tangrowth, take the hits, get toxic or get poisoned from the what is it called? From the toxic spikes, and yeah, but instead no, he's Life Orb, so that allows me to go for Dragon Pulse again and get more recovery back with my Dialga. So we're in a great spot here. In comes the Solgaleo. We do clean 15% with the Dragon Pulse, so we do absolutely nothing. And at this point, I'm dropping to an Earthquake, and I can't have that, so I'm going to switch out now and go into my Tangrowth. Tangrowth is my only real answer to the Solgaleo, and he could be carrying Flare Blitz or I believe Fire Blast as well. And Sunsteel Strike is going to do a ton of damage to me, but you're going to see he does something very unexpected, and that's Trick Room. So Trick Room comes out, it completely caught me off guard, but whatever, actually kind of could be helpful because I'll speed him now, and I can go for a Leech Seed, I believe I go for. I think I go for Leech Seed here. But yeah, like it took me like aback because, well, think of it this way, he's got pretty strong team against me, and he needs some speed with his Mega Gyarados, with his Giratina, with his Solgaleo, but whatever, he brought Trick Room, and it caught me off guard, and that's what matters because at the end of the day, he could really have kind of like derailed everything with this, but he does switch out and he goes to a Sylveon, and I should outspeed this thing under Trick Room, so I'm going to go for Giga Drain. Hopefully it picks up the KO. I'm not carrying Sludge Bomb or Poison Jab, but unfortunately we leave him on a sliver of health. But the good news is he's going to drop to the Leaf Seed, but not before he's going to be able to get off a Wish, which is really unfortunate since he's going to have to come in and heal up his Giratina or Solgaleo, which really I just need to get damage on so my Greninja or my Dialga can come in and just like clean off. So whatever, we end up picking up the KO on the Sylveon. I believe all he has left now is his Lurantis and his 2 Ubers. So it's okay, he goes into Reckoner here. There's 1 turn left of Trick Room after, I think this is actually, no, so there's 2 turns left of Trick Room. There's this one and the next one. And I'm going to go for the Leech Seed here. I don't know what he's going to do to me. I should live any hit he goes for. I live a Shadow Ball, I live a Dragon Pulse, I don't live a Draco Meteor, but yeah. But he's going to go actually for the Hex. And Hex ends up being a really good play because, I mean, Toxic Spikes and Hex, awesome. And thankfully we landed that Leaf Seed, because had we not landed the Leaf Seed, then the Toxic damage would have been able to rack up enough to KO us. And yeah, that wouldn't have been good because I need to have this thing in the back. Just having Regenerator, it doesn't matter how low you get, Tangrowth can still wall things because of Regenerator. So I'm going to switch out now, and I go actually into, I believe, my Dialga, because I can take any one hit. Whoops, I paused it by accident. It can take any one hit from the Dialga, from the Giratina, whether it's Shadow Ball, Hex, Draco Meteor, I don't care. I can take the hit. So he actually switches out though, and he goes into Bloom here, which is his Lurantis. I'm thinking, this is perfect. You're no longer in Trick Room. I outspeed you. You're in range for my Dragon Pulse. I'm just going to click Dragon Pulse. If anything comes in, I can pretty much confidently say I'll outspeed it because he brought a Trick Room team. So I'm going to go for the Dragon Pulse here, and we are going to be able to pick off the Lurantis. So Dialga putting in a ton of work. I'm really happy with how this set worked out for me this game. Having sub on it was just perfect. It really allowed me to break his team down really well. So at this point, I believe it's still 5-2 right now? 5-2 or 4-2? I think it's 5-2. And he's going to go into Solgaleo here, no surprise. And I'm thinking, look, I'm going to live an Earthquake from this range. I'm going to go for an Earth Power thing. I outspeed you because you were Trick Room. And thankfully, I do end up outspeeding him. So that's awesome. We end up picking up a huge chunk of damage on the Solgaleo, so he can go for the Earthquake. If he was Z, then the Z Earthquake would have picked us off, 100%. We would have dropped to that. But thankfully, because he's not, we actually live on 13 HP. That's awesome. And that shows he's probably an Adamant Natured, or probably a Brave Nature even. So, or whatever attack boost nature. He could be Lonely Nature for all I know. But I'm going to go for another Earth Power here, as he's going to go hard into his Dialga. I'm like, this is cool. Dragon Pulse is just, you're getting closer and closer to Dragon Pulse and Ice Beam range. All I gotta do is make sure that you get low enough for that, and I'm good. So I go for the Earth Power here. We're gonna do a decent chunk of damage to this thing. This thing is so fat. That is nothing. Like, I lied when I said decent chunk of damage. That is nothing. But it's okay. We're getting back HP slowly but surely. We don't have enough HP to make a sub yet, which sucks. I would like to have enough HP to make a sub because this thing is gonna go for Protect a few times to try and get back some HP. But you can see right here, Protect. If I had enough HP for a sub, I would definitely click sub. But it's whatever. I can now go for the Dragon Pulse again, and Dragon Pulse. Basically, I just need to, like, Dialga's not going to KO the Giratina from this range. It's not. Unless we crit him, it's just not. But that's okay. All we need to do is chip this thing down low enough so that Greninja can come in and Greninja can pick up a KO, because Greninja will outspeed everything and has coverage, super effective coverage for both the Dialga and the Solgaleo. So Dragon Pulse comes out, and Dragon Pulse is going to do, what, like 50%? 60%? Probably closer to 50%. And that's nowhere near enough damage. I thought it was going to do more, but whatever. He goes to the Dragon Pulse here, and Dragon Pulse is going to be enough to take the KO on our Dialga. So we do end up losing our all-star, I guess, of the game. But it's fine, because now Greninja can come in for free, and Greninja still is at max HP. And regardless of the fact that there are spikes, toxic spikes on the field, we can still manage to wear his team down and manage to pick up the KO, regardless of him stalling me out with Protect or whatever it would be. So it's fine by me. I'm going to click the Ice Beam here, and he's just going to go for the Protect again. He needs to wear down the He needs to like get back some HP from leftovers and hopefully manage to live a hit. So I transform into an ice type, and I'm going to click the ice beam here. He just protects himself, and now I'm thinking he's probably going to go into Solgaleo, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go for the ice beam again. Ice beam does the most damage to the Dialga by like I think 5 or 6%, so I need to make sure just in case I do KO him. So I'm going to go for the ice beam again. Obviously, if he switches on to Solgaleo, which he does, it's not going to KO the Solgaleo because it's just resistant and it's kind of bulky. So ice beam comes out. Ice beam is not going to be able to pick up the KO here, but I do have the Dark Pulse. I didn't want to risk the like a low roll with the ice beam, so I decided to just stick with the Dark Pulse here and just go for that. Thankfully, this thing doesn't get extreme speed because that would have done a decent amount of damage, or Bullet Punch even, because priority Bullet Punch from a stab steel type would have done a lot of damage to me. But it's okay, Dark Pulse comes out and picks up the KO on the Solgaleo, and now he has to go into his Giratina, and this thing just drops to an Ice Beam. He's probably going to try and protect one more time to try and get out of range of my Ice Beam, but he's not going to do it. Ice Beam does at minimum, I think like 53% or 54%, if I remember the calcs correctly. It's been a while since, I think it's been like almost a week. But I go for the Ice Beam here, Protect comes out, he's safe, and I can go for the Ice Beam the next turn, and we'll be able to pick up the KO. We'll be able to win 4-0 against Splurge here. So we're going to advance to 3-1 on the season with, I believe it's a +6 differential. I could be wrong, I think it's +6, but it was a really good game. GG to Splurge. He actually hasn't had the best season so far. He's, I think, 0-4 now, and really unfortunate, but it's just kind of the way it works. His team is really scary. He just says he hasn't been using it the way he wanted to. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked the BBL content, let me know by leaving a like on the video and by commenting down below as well. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye.